You're born in a hospital suite that costs more than most people's houses. Forget the crying baby in the next room. You had a private wing with a chandelier over your crib. By the time other kids get their first rattle, you're already parked next to a Ferrari with your name on the license plate, though you can't even spell car yet. By your first birthday, Taylor Swift is singing in the backyard, not because she loves kids, but because your dad wired 6 figures for a 3-song set. Halfway through, you waddle up in your diaper and demand half her fee, threatening to replace her with Peppa Pig if she refuses. Taylor storms off, humiliated, out-negotiated by a toddler in Pampers. But here's what you don't get: love. Your dad gifts you a Rolex at 8, but not a hug. It's to teach you the value of time, he says, while checking his Patek. Your mom never calls you honey or sweetheart, just Joe every time, like you're the family driver. At night, instead of a bedtime story, you get tucked in by a butler dressed as Winnie the Pooh, because that's the closest thing to affection in the house. School? Forget fitting in. Other kids pull up in a beat-up yellow school bus. You roll up in a black limousine, waving like a senator on parole. Inside class, it gets worse. Other kids show up with crayons. You show up with diamond-encrusted ones. First day, you bite into one because you thought it was candy. Dentist bill, $10,000. Drawing, still ugly. And friends? They're poor. At least that's what you tell your chauffeur, the only person you can actually talk to. They lose their minds when they see your bedroom, because it looks like a full-on toy store. What they don't know is that your dad bought the bankrupt Toys R Us franchise back from the dead, just to restock your shelves. At the end of the night, they go home bragging about your toy store bedroom, and you stay behind, crying in a room so empty that even your echo ignores you. Even hide and seek gets ruined, because your opponents are bodyguards paid to lose. The best hider was Bob, who once hid in a secret panic room for 6 hours. He got a bonus. You got bored. Adolescence, the universal disaster. Everybody gets acne. You pay Gus Fring to take care of anyone who laughs at yours. Other kids rebel by dyeing their hair blue. You, your personal stylist, gets fired for allowing it to happen. Dating? Your first date at the movies is ruined because your dad hired a bodyguard to sit right behind you and laugh a little too loudly at all the wrong parts. The drive home is worse. Your chauffeur hears every awkward silence and later gives the date a Yelp review. The only authentic moment is getting caught in the rain. You're finally just 2 kids laughing, until your security team descends with umbrellas, towels, and a backup limo, killing the mood instantly. And parents? Always present, never there. They show up on red carpets and charity boards. But when you cry about your first breakup, mom tells you to book an appointment through her assistant, and dad sends you a Rolex with a note. This will comfort you more than she ever could. School? You don't stay long in a regular one. In the life of a rich kid, it's normal to get shipped off to a private school in Switzerland that costs $100,000 a month. There, failure isn't possible. Because as long as dad keeps paying, every test magically turns into an A. But Switzerland doesn't last. You hate the freezing weather, and even worse, you're not the richest kid there. Surrounded by classmates with bigger fortunes, you actually start missing your poor friends back home. So, you pressure dad to bring you back to the States by hinting you might reveal what you once saw in the maid's room. He never asks what you mean. The flight is booked before you finish the sentence. Back in the States, dad makes sure you keep quiet with a little bonus. Daddy cuts a check and suddenly you're shooting hoops with LeBron James. He gives you a high five that feels like a business transaction, signs a ball for the gram, and is helicoptered out before you can ask for a second game. You didn't earn it, but you'll post it anyway. The caption, just hooping with the king, #blessed, #hard work. Heartbreak. Brutal. She didn't leave because you're boring or ugly. She left because her new boyfriend's family is richer than yours. Yes, richer. You got dumped for net worth. You cry in bed. Dad tries to comfort you by saying, don't worry, son. We own their favorite basketball team. Great. So now you're single and benched next to the mascot. Fast forward, adulthood, freedom, right? Not even close. You go jogging, but with bodyguards circling you like drones. Try flirting? Forget it. Every time you wave, they hand the girl a background check form. And when it comes to privilege, other people save years for Super Bowl tickets. You're in the VIP skybox with free champagne and napkins embroidered with your initials. Then it happens. The kiss cam lands on you. Tiny problem, the girl in your arms isn't your girlfriend. She's a seat filler with benefits. The camera lingers. Panic. She slides out of frame like Houdini, and you sink so low you're basically lying flat. And as for the kiss cam guy, nobody's heard from him since. Weird. After all that chaos, You need damage control. So what do? You whisk your actual girlfriend away on a vacation because nothing says sorry about that kiss cam thing. Like a week that costs more than most people's mortgages for an entire year. 100 grand later, the scandal feels patched over. At least enough for Instagram. She's already posting pictures of the infinity pool with captions like #ForeverUs, #LoveWins, #Blessed and in love. Meanwhile, the only thing authentic is the 6-figure receipt dad wired over. And what comes after the ultimate apology tour? Marriage. The stars show up, even the ones you've never met. There's Tom Hanks, LeBron James, Kim Kardashian, and wait, is that Diddy? What's he doing here? Doesn't matter, your dad wrote the checks. Then Rihanna takes the stage and belts out Diamonds. But in that room, everyone quietly hears the remix. Shine bright, like a trust fund. Then comes the honeymoon. Pure billionaire fantasy. Glaciers, yachts, sunsets that look photoshopped in real life. You're finally thinking, maybe money can buy happiness. And then, ping, a text pops up. Miss me? Kiss cam girl. Your wife sees it before you can flip the phone. Silence. Then she looks at your bodyguards and says, escort him off his own yacht. Suddenly, the same guys who shielded you from paparazzi are marching you down the deck like a perp walk. Luggage tossed, honeymoon over, and you're flown home sitting in row 32C of your own jet. Because apparently, she downgraded you for spite. Turns out, paradise has Wi-Fi, but no mercy. You try therapy. After the honeymoon imploded, you need someone who won't switch sides mid-session. Finally, a voice in the room that says, your name without venom, without hashtags. You practice saying no, and it doesn't sound spoiled, it sounds like relief. You start collecting ordinary joys. A midnight grocery run, a park bench nobody recognizes you on, a dad joke at a bar where nobody cares who you are. For once, life feels unscripted, and that's the closest thing to freedom you've ever had. So why does it suck to be born a billionaire? Because you had Taylor Swift singing at your first birthday, Rihanna at your wedding, summers on private islands, and champagne in the Super Bowl skybox. And somehow, you're still miserable. Money doesn't buy happiness, it just buys louder distractions. The bigger the privilege, the emptier the silence afterward. In the end, you've been rich in everything except the one thing you actually wanted, to be treated like a normal human. Everyone envies you, but you envy them. They're chasing money, you're chasing meaning. And the cruelest part? They'll never believe you, but I do. That's why I told you the truth. Thanks for watching this video. And don't forget to hit subscribe because next time we're going darker. Why it sucks to be ugly. Sorry, Joe. Oh, and if you've got ideas, tell us in the comments what other why it sucks you'd love to see.